Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel, and I am back again today with another review for you. I know I've been pumping them out lately, but this one is one I've been wanting to talk about for a while. I got a chance to see it at the Toronto International Film Festival, and that is Eternity, directed by David Freyne, starring Miles Teller, Elizabeth Olsen, and Callum Turner. And this follows a man named Larry who passes over into the afterlife, is introduced to this whole world of possibilities, where to go, all the different paths you can choose once you have passed away to spend your eternity. But the problem is, he has a terminally ill wife, Joan, played by Elizabeth Olsen, and he's waiting for her to pass over. And once she finally does, trouble starts brewing when her first husband, Luke, who died in the Korean War, comes back. And now she has to make that difficult decision. Does she go with the husband that she spent her whole life with, or does she go with the one that she never had the chance to spend her life with? And that is the premise to Eternity, which I really do think is quite a great premise on paper. Now, when I saw this trailer initially, I didn't think that this was something that I was looking forward to at all. I wasn't impressed by the jokes or anything. Just on initial viewing of that, I thought it was going to be some corny rom-com, but honestly, it's so much more than that. It's very existential, obviously, from, the premise and everything, but it really deals with some very thoughtful ideas where you kind of have to reckon with this situation. It is very emotionally dynamic in the way that it presents this conflict that Joan has to deal with, and which man to choose. And the answers are never as clear-cut and dry as you'd think. Every time you're like, oh, well, that obviously, would be the right choice to make, something comes up that really makes you second-guess it. And that's what I love about this movie. There is so much great tension and conflict that is built from this premise, as all great scripts should do. And I think the script is absolutely hysterical. I was really caught off guard at how funny this was. And the fact that I got to see it in the first place, we were all just standing around after Hamnet, and we're like, what are we doing? Like, what's going on? And we looked at the P&I schedule. It's like, oh, there's a screening for Eternity? Looked at Letterboxd. I'm like, wow, that's actually pretty great. So we all went in and saw it, me and the YouTube gang. And I think, from my understanding, I didn't get to talk to everybody afterwards, but I think everybody was quite pleased with it. So it was really a wonderful experience that kind of fell into my lap. I really wasn't planning on seeing this at all, and that's the beauty of having the press pass, is, coming across gems like this, because this honestly is one of the funnier movies, I would say, this year. And there's some really, really great jokes, especially about the Korean War. That's all I'm going to say, that I thought were absolutely hysterical. And also, I think, the cast really brings it as well. Miles Teller, this is one of his best performances in quite some time. We obviously saw him fairly recently with Top Gun Maverick a few years ago, but I love seeing him in movies because I just think he is such a terrific performer. And I think that he definitely has the comedic chops here, but also really carries the emotional weight of the story and what Larry's going through in trying to seal the deal with his wife one more time, like he even had to begin with. And I absolutely think the way he navigates that throughout the entirety of this narrative is really brilliant. And then you get Elizabeth Olsen, of course, the lovely Elizabeth Olsen, who I think, honestly, turns in one of her career best performances here. I think that this is actually worthy of a Golden Globe nomination. That would be amazing if she snuck in and got it come the nominations morning. But I think she has the most demanding role in this, having to kind of reckon with this in her head and, have to make these very, very dire emotional decisions. And I think that she absolutely nails this role, and of course the comedy as well. And Callum Turner, I haven't seen him in a whole lot, but he really impressed me here. He oozes charisma as soon as he steps onto the screen, but also fits so snugly into this dynamic and how his character has to come across to kind of regain the affection, well, maybe not regain the affection of his old wife, but, definitely try to convince her why she needs to go off with him and, start this new life together in this whole other capacity. And I love how he kind of has to deal with a lot of baggage that these two obviously didn't have to have. And, you know, the fact that he didn't get to spend the life with his woman, and how that's kind of taken a toll on him emotionally throughout the years that he's just been waiting for her to show up. It really is a great performance, and I love when him and Miles Teller butt heads. That's always really a lot of fun. But I also have to shout out Oscar winner Da'Vine Joy Randolph, who is back in another role since her turn in The Holdovers as his afterlife coordinator, at least for Larry's character, and I think she brings some of the best laughs in the movie. Definitely the comic relief of the film, as well as John Early, who plays Joan's afterlife coordinator, and their dynamic is really great. And I'm really happy to see her in a role like this, because I'm like, we need to see her put in some good work after The Holdovers, right? And I think that she is continuing on a great career trajectory if she's picking roles like this, where she does get to have a lot of fun, but she gets to exude a lot of presence and sass. I absolutely love seeing Da'Vine Joy Randolph pop off in movies, and I hope to see her pop up in other projects as well down the line. And I think that this narrative, while maybe not the most surprising, certainly by the end, it does take you in very unexpected directions throughout the course of its runtime, and I think that's what makes it interesting. Like I said, the conflict is so perfectly integrated into these characters' emotions, and that's how all scripts should be. I think when it comes to writing the story, the characters' actions should drive the narrative, and I love that this movie doesn't shy away from those difficult questions as to how to pick, because do you want to pick someone who you obviously have been comfortable with so long but are used to at this point, or do you want to pick that opportunity that was right in front of you and got taken away? And yet again, what does that lead to? What is the potential there? Is there potential there? You never got to play it out in the real world. And that's essentially what you're dealing with this conflict. But I really do think that the way it all comes together is beautiful. It's in the classic rom-com structure in all the best ways, I would say. Even though I feel like it goes on a little bit too long at a certain point. But I also just love how with this script there's a really amazing world around it. In the afterlife, there's so many different booths popping up in this whole expo, and I really do think that the production design here is worthy of an Oscar nomination, which wasn't something I was expecting to say walking into the film, but it's just so beautifully crafted and so well realized. I did not expect that from a rom-com like this, but here we are saying that it deserves to get a nomination, and I'm not sure if it will, but don't be surprised if it does sneak in their Oscar nominations morning, because it really is some delicate set work that I just think absolutely pops off the screen visually as well. It's very vibrant, and the contrast between all the colors, it really makes it feel so lively. You know, no pun intended, but it really does feel that way. It's almost like you want to die and go to this place. And so I really think that there is so much to appreciate about this story, but it's really the quiet and thoughtful moments that really linger on in my head long after I have seen it. And I really just think that this is a very emotionally satisfying movie, and I think fans of rom-coms are going to appreciate it. This is definitely one of those ones that I would say is the perfect date movie, in fact. And one you should all go check out if you're interested in seeing Eternity. I thought that this was an absolute delight, and I think that you all who see it might agree with me once you check it out. So I'm going to give Eternity an 8 out of 10, a really, really good rom-com, and it's hard to come by these, I feel, at this point in time, because a lot of the ones that we get from Hollywood are quite cliche and cookie cutter, and like I said, it definitely has a formula to it, but I would not call it any of those things that I had just said. And so, yeah, you guys let me know what you thought of Eternity down in the comments below. Do you think this is a new rom-com classic? Let me know, or if you didn't like it for that matter. Would love to hear everything you have to say. And please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more reviews like this one. I think the next review that I'm going to put out there is for Left-Handed Girl, which is now streaming on Netflix. So very excited to talk about that one with you guys. And until then, I will ask you to have yourselves a good one, and we'll see you soon.